Chase says goodbye to Brook. Courtroom confession leaves everyone speechless. General Hospital. Harrison Chase sat alone at Kelly's, a place that once felt like home, a warm echo of the life he thought he was building with Brook Courtroom. The coffee was cold, untouched. His wedding ring sat on the table before him, its glimmer dulled by weeks of resentment, lies, and something else entirely. Guilt. Brook, meanwhile, had spent the past few weeks tirelessly covering for the Courtrooms as Yelq faced an SEC investigation. In the chaos, she'd grown distant, emotionally unavailable, and worst of all, secretive. Chase wasn't perfect. He'd made his mistakes. But this time, he wasn't just walking away, he was testifying. Brook was blindsided. The divorce petition was delivered by a courier at GH, where she was meeting with Lois and Maxie. One glance at the envelope, sealed and stamped from the courthouse, and she knew. At the Q mansion that night, she confronted Chase. Brook, you couldn't even talk to me first? Chase, I talked to you for months. You just weren't listening. She begged for a second chance. But Chase had already filed for an emergency hearing and informed the court there was a final declaration he needed to make under oath before any settlement could proceed. A storm was coming. As the hearing approached, Brook fell into a spiral of anxiety and anger. She turned to Lois, desperate to understand what Chase might reveal. Lois, sensing the depth of her daughter's denial, warned her. Lois, whatever it is, Brook, it's not just about you. It's about who Chase became trying to love you. At the PCPD, Dante tried to talk to Chase, hoping to steer him toward mediation. But Chase was resolute. Chase, she turned love into a performance. I need the truth to end this, for both of us. The day of the hearing arrived. In the packed family courtroom of Port Charles, Brook sat with Tracy and Lois at her side. Chase entered alone, wearing a tailored gray suit, his badge left behind, symbolically and literally. He had already filed his resignation from the PCPD, effective immediately after the hearing. The judge called for final statements. Brook gave a passionate, if visibly shaken, plea for compassion, that she'd made mistakes, but she never stopped loving Chase. Then Chase stood. Chase, Your Honor, I don't seek revenge or compensation. But I do have one last thing to say, because a marriage shouldn't end in silence. Chase revealed that during the 6 months prior to the hearing, he had secretly been investigating a money laundering funnel connected to a shell company under the Yelq umbrella, one Brook had unknowingly authorized. The shell company had been used by Link Brown, her former music manager and predator, to re-establish control over indie artists and launder criminal funds. But that wasn't the secret. Chase, I didn't come forward earlier because the deal that protected Brook from Link also protected the artists he destroyed. If I spoke, they'd lose everything. So I waited. But there's more. He turned to Brook. 6 weeks before our wedding, I discovered that you knew about the shell company. You kept it from me. You told Lois, and you told Tracy, but not me. You wanted to fix it quietly so I wouldn't see the cracks in your armor. But marriage isn't about armor. It's about the truth. Brook was stunned. Lois gasped. Tracy closed her eyes. The courtroom fell silent. Brook tried to respond, but the judge held firm. Her attorneys advised her not to speak. The gavel fell. The divorce was finalized in less than 10 minutes. Outside the courthouse, Chase walked past reporters and fans alike, giving no comment. Brook chased him to the sidewalk. Brook, I did it to protect you. Chase, you did it to protect your image of me. Because if I had known, I might have seen you as vulnerable. And you can't stand being seen as anything less than invincible. Brook, so what? You just leave. Chase, I already left. I just stayed long enough to say goodbye. He got in the car waiting for him and drove away, not just from Brook, but from Port Charles. Back at GH, Finn was blindsided by the news. He confronted Brook, not to defend Chase, but to understand. Finn, he's gone, Brook. But why do I feel like he took a part of all of us with him? Maxie, heartbroken for both sides, encouraged Brooklyn to release a statement, but she refused. Instead, she turned inward, isolating herself in the Q mansion and avoiding everyone, even Leo. Then came the letter, delivered by courier once again, Chase's final message, handwritten, in a plain manila envelope. Brook, we could have written songs together for the rest of our lives. But we kept trying to remix a melody that was already broken. I stayed longer than I should have, not because I didn't love you, but because I thought love was enough. It wasn't. When I saw you hiding the truth, I realized I wasn't trying to love you. I was trying to love the idea of you. And that's not your fault. It's mine. I've transferred to a medical organization doing relief work in Guatemala. I'll be helping rebuild after a landslide. No press. No expectations. No lies. Maybe one day, when the music plays again, you'll think of me. Chase. Brooklyn read it 3 times. Then she collapsed onto her piano bench and sobbed into her hands. Brooklyn sits alone in the old music room at the Courtroom estate. On her phone is a voicemail she never deleted, Chase singing the chorus of a song he wrote for her. If we ever lose the word / just hum the tune / and I'll find you. She presses delete, then picks up her guitar and starts writing a new song. Not for Chase. For herself.